Pioneers, not in covered wagons, but right here in the electronic age. Groundbreakers in the shift towards simplicity, organic food, nature's own art. That's up next on Chefs Afield. The Skagit River winds through the Cascade Mountain Range, north of Seattle. The river's glacial waters are some of the purest in all of North America. Below the Cascade Mountains, among the old, majestic fir trees, Jim Meyer tends 28 acres of crops, all of them organic.
The bottom line of organic is farming in a way that's really working in harmony with nature, so that as I do things, I'm trying to understand the natural systems, the processes at work behind the scenes, so that I can partner with the natural world.
Farming here began in 1972 when a young man named Gene Kahn, passing through, entranced by the land, pulled to the side of the road. Kahn and others had an idea: farm organically. Today, these hands tend the fields, charged by Gene Kahn to be caretakers of the land.
37 years ago, there was no manual. There was a few hints. I started off, like so many others in the Back to the Land movement, disillusioned with ecological degradation and wanting to find something different. Within 10 years, I was this rabid organic missionary doing everything I could to convince people that organic farming was the way to go. It was a part of saving the planet.
Which ones are ripe? Are the green ones ripe, Caleb?
Today, the farm's pioneering spirit is alive and well. The Myers' children and grandchildren pick from the fields. Here, Farmer Jim puts nature to work. Water from a spring high on the hill irrigates and powers the farm. The compost seems to practically grow itself, and the berries burst from the bushes. Mother Nature at work. Where the river flows and meets the Puget Sound is another pioneering spirit, working too with nature's bounty.
Look at these beautiful blueberries. These are the blue golds that I loved so much out there, or are still great.
Chef Christine Keff. More than 15 years ago, her Flying Fish restaurant in Seattle broke new ground.
At Flying Fish, we make all of our business decisions based on 5 principles: honesty, respect, integrity, diversity, and inclusiveness. So when we look at our food and we think about respect, we think about respect for the planet as well as respect for the ingredients.
She has always known her suppliers, folks nearby.
It's important to me to buy sustainably harvested products. It's my responsibility. I feel responsible as a citizen to do that, and that's why I do it.
It has always been about more than just food here.
It is actually kind of a spiritual thing for me, this whole sustainability thing. I just feel that I'm put here to do that, and all of us are, to take care of each other and to take care of all the life forms around us. And that's why I do it, really plain and simple.
So do you use strawberries at the restaurant? Do you like to get some favorite recipes with them?
Oh yeah, we do. We put them in ice cream. We make this terrific shortcake.
Today the chef is, as she often is, out on the farm to sample the season's bounty.
Now these tend to be closer to the wild blueberry. Those are good.
Blueberries of all kinds. Farmer Jim experimenting with blueberry varieties, learning which ones succeed organically.
I've got a little variety trial here, and I can show you. We can taste.
Oh, taste,
a bunch of different varieties. I think taste is important, right?
Yeah, taste is the thing.
These are Ricas.
What makes these guys special?
You know, the Ricas are an early variety, and yet it's a really firm berry.
Well, these were terrific. Does it get better?
It gets different.
Good answer.
Now, see, this Blu-ray bush it's a lot taller, and maybe the berry size a little bit bigger.
Uh-huh.
So try those. See what you think of the flavors.
Blu-ray. They are different. They are different. I'm still going with the Ricas so far.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe for sauce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would make a good
Very good.
sauce. Let's. The next one here is called Blue Gold. Try these. They kind of have a little bit of a spicy
big
flavor.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing. Citrus. Gosh, those That's the most interesting blueberry I've ever tasted.
Isn't that something?
That is really something.
Yeah, it's really got a different kind of a snap to it, almost tropical, like you said, citrus.
Yeah, definitely, definitely tropical. Great. How many varieties are there? Here
on the farm, I have 5 varieties that I'm picking regularly. And then here in the varietal trial, there's 5 others. So I have a total of 10 varieties on the farm, but only 5 in a commercial size planting.
Right.
Ask a farmer which crops are the most difficult to grow organically. Likely the answer will be berries. Indeed, when Jim began farming, he was told simply, you cannot beat the mummy berry. You can't grow blueberries organically. It's impossible.
We're looking at, how they do in an organic farming situation. Are they resistant to mummyberry? Are they susceptible to mummyberry?
You gotta tell me what mummyberry is.
I see some laying on the ground.
Oh, now I see why mummyberry.
Now you see why they call them mummyberry.
Yeah, they look pretty desiccated.
It's a fungal disease. In the spring, they sprout a little tiny mushroom, which throws a true spore, which mimics pollen, is taken in by the blueberry flower. If it gets out of hand, you can see it could really devastate the crop.
Oh, absolutely.
Really devastate the crop.
So in conventional agriculture, would they use sprays for that?
Yeah, they'd be using a systemic fungicide, something that would spray on once, it would enter the plant's system and be pumped to all the tissue, so it would be resistant. And in an organic system, I've tried a lot of things. I've been working on this for 17 years now, trying to figure out what's going to work. And the best thing I've found is disruption. I come through here with a drag harrow, think of about 5 giant rakes all hooked together, and drag it up and down the rows. And I'm able to keep my incidence of mummyberry down to below 25%.
So again, more labor intensive but no chemicals, and so
more labor intensive, but no chemicals, and a little bit smaller yield.
But sustainable. We can do this over and over for
decades
and still have good soil.
Yeah, and I could use a horse to pull it down the row if I had to, if there wasn't enough oil to fire up the tractor.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. I don't know how you farmers do it. I thought the kitchen was hot.
Boy. Well, if you can't stand the heat, you got to get out of the field, huh? Right?
Oh.
Here's a nice spot. Let's sit down in the shade.
All right. This is nice.
This is much better, huh?
Yeah,
The soil here I've been working on for the last 16 years now. And as it says in our self-guided tour, blueberries love bogs. And so I'm trying to create a bog for them. Every year I throw in a nice layer of sawdust mulch, and just before that I put in a layer of the compost that I make. And just beautiful, beautiful
it's amazing.
stuff.
And it's 100 degrees out, but this is actually cool. It's probably like 65 degrees in that underneath there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
People ask me what you do with all that sawdust. I tell them, well, I'm feeding it to the blueberries, and they don't believe me. But
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. That is what I call some mulch.
yeah, mulchy, yummy stuff that the blueberries are just loving.
Oh man, who wouldn't?
We use water from the hillside up there. You can see that whole bowl of mountainside feeds into one stream. We collect the water in the cistern and flow it in a pipe down here, and use that to irrigate the blueberries.
That's a closed system, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then, of course, it joins the river water. I mean, we're sitting on top of the Skagit River right now.
Right. So it's all going to the same place it would
It's all
anyway.
going to the same place it would anyway.
Just borrow a little. Yeah.
And with that slow release organic system, there's no threat of polluting the river water or polluting the groundwater. Same system that supports those 200-foot tall fir trees on the side of the hill.
Yeah, we tend to think of ourselves only. There's a lot supporting us, so we have to take good care of.
Yeah. We know what the blueberries are eating, and we've tasted some. What do you think is your favorite?
Absolutely that blue gold, the one that had the citrus overtones and the kind of tropical thing. That was the most complex flavor. I mean, they were all terrific, but that
We'll
one
get you some
was
of
my
those
favorite.
to take home.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Hey, let's go over and see the compost pile.
Oh, that's great. That would definitely be on my list.
Okay.
There is not a gardener or farmer who does not gaze with envy at this pile of waste. Thoroughly nourishing waste. Compost.
Okay, I know you'd probably want to take me into your kitchen to show me what you're cooking up.
Yeah.
But let me show you what I'm cooking up here.
Jeez, this is one amazing compost pile. Look at this thing.
When I moved to the Northwest, folks told me that the only thing that grows any good here is grass and trees. And so I make my compost using sawdust, the same sawdust I use to mulch the blueberries. And then the grass clippings from all the field margins, and I've got a couple acres of pasture mix up top. That green chop, or the grass clippings, is really high in nitrogen. You know, if you've ever thrown a bundle of grass clippings on the side of the yard thinking you'll clean it up later, by the next day it's just a sloppy, hot mess, right?
It's true.
So buffered with enough sawdust, that feeds the microorganisms.
Wow.
Let me show you how this is. I make a pile like this one a year, and it gets pretty hot inside the pile. As you can tell, feel the heat coming off of that.
Ooh. Wow, what is that, 130?
Probably 130 right now. We can hit 150, 160 sometimes.
Wow.
Got a nice smell.
Oh.
I about said flavor, but we'll eat it in a few
I'm
years.
not going that far, but it does smell good. You're right about that.
Well, we are going to eat it, but it's going to go through the plant first.
Oh, thank God.
All right. So this will feed the soil, and the soil will feed the plants, and the plants will feed us. It's a system, it just keeps going round and round. It's a bunch of biology going on. It's all part of what makes great soil, and making great soil makes great food.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let's go look at some other stuff here through the fence.
Okay.
I got some seed crops.
Seeds?
Seeds. You know, organic agriculture is a constantly evolving thing, and there's been an increasing demand for seed crops. The spinach now is just setting its seeds. All the male plants have pretty much done their job, but the females now have held these seeds in between their leaves, and now they're stretching out and the sun's getting in there to ripen off all of this seed.
Right. Well, in my garden, I usually look at this as the end of the road, but for you, it's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning, that's right.
There's more farm up the hill. Kiwi fruit, strawberries, tomatoes, peppers, and the first stop, raspberries.
So Chris, this is a new planting of raspberries I've got going.
Look at that. Aren't those pretty? Oh boy.
We're really happy with the flavor of these.
I'm happy too.
All right.
Those are great. Oh God, those are good.
Yeah, so much can be accomplished by picking the right variety in an organic situation so that it meets and works with your environment, with your production system.
Right, you're paying attention to what's compatible rather than trying to force a plant to do something.
Exactly. It'd be like trying to grow pineapples here. Wouldn't work very well.
Not so much.
No, it would take a lot of work.
Growing many varieties means that the farmer and the chef get to know and taste which ones do best here.
It's a little hot, but let's take a quick run through the greenhouse and we'll grab a few tomatoes.
Emphasis on quick?
Indeed. Come on this way.
Yeah, those are
We've got
beautiful.
reds and orange and yellow,
Yeah.
several different varieties.
Yeah. Oh, look at that puppy, huh?
And
Ooh,
then
baby.
I'm doing some early dolls.
Oh, it smells so good in here.
Nice salad tomato.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Our customers really love these sun golds. They've got such a great tropical flavor.
Oh, wow. This is a salad waiting to happen here.
It is. Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. 'Tis the time of year. There you
Beautiful,
go.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Let me grab a few sweet million for you as well.
Oh, look at those.
Look at that,
Those
huh?
are beautiful, huh? Yeah, I can work with that.
All right, good. Oh, Caleb, hi. Look, we're picking tomatoes. Hi, Arthur.
Arthur.
Oh, looks like you've already been eating some, huh?
Oh, he likes
Snuck in.
Yeah. Yeah, these are my grandkids. This
Hey, Caleb.
my daughter, Corinne. Oh, none of my kids seem to take to farming so much, but all my
could be it.
grandkids love
This
it,
could
so
be
you
it.
know, who knows?
This could be it.
Be my
It's me,
granddad,
that's for sure.
then me.
My tomatoes on my porch were,
Yeah.
doing a little dive.
But he knows how to eat a cherry tomato.
Well,
Well, almost.
you get started.
So let's go down and I'll show you the pumpkin patch real quick, and then we can duck in and grab an ice cream.
Ice
There's a
cream.
stand.
Yes.
Okay.
Ice cream is
is a
good.
winner. Let's do it. You have to go with me? Okay, well, we'll see if you can come along or not. We'll have to ask.
They are very young. They may be farmers someday or maybe not, but they probably will not forget these moments for a very long time.
So, Chris, here I got you, drug you into the middle of my pumpkin patch.
In the pumpkin patch.
Yeah, this is where I got started in farming. When I was 10 years old, my folks had a pretty large 1 acre lot, and I grew some pumpkins in the backyard and made a little extra money.
You and Charlie Brown.
Yeah, you bet. And here I am, 50 years later, growing pumpkins by the side of the road and selling them at Halloween.
Some things don't change.
So, yeah, they don't. We sell the pumpkins, our berries, everything through the roadside stand here. And it's an opportunity for people to buy fresh vegetables straight off the farm. And we've got a whole series of interpretive signs, our quote self-guided tour. Yeah, we see a lot of traffic. The thank you very much for coming out here today, Chris. It's really been fun showing you around the farm.
Thank you, Jim. It's been a pleasure being here, and you
Me.
better come and visit me at the restaurant.
I will. I'll be into Seattle and have a meal once I get the blueberries
I was
all
going
in
to
their
say, once
boxes.
blueberry season's over,
You bet, you bet.
Well, it's been great.
Great.
Well, here we are back at the ranch again, and the thing that I loved the most yesterday was the tomatoes. I mean, the tomatoes at that farm are just incredible, and I'm a tomato lover. I'm an absolute tomato lover. I'm going to make a stufato, which is Greek in origin, a Mediterranean-style seafood stew made with tomatoes and pearl onions. I'm going to use some Northwest seafood in it, because here we are in the Northwest. These are our little manila clams and our little blue mussels from Penn Cove, and a beautiful, beautiful cut of halibut. Now, these guys are all sustainably harvested. The clams and the mussels are from a farm, and this is the one case, or one of the few cases when we really like farmed seafood. They're filter feeders, and they actually clean the water. So the more shellfish farms we can have, the better. And then the other thing we're going to put in to our stew is a visitor from the East Coast, an East Coast lobster. First thing we're going to do, put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of our pan, 3 bay leaves and 3 cloves in there. And I'm going to let them heat up until I can smell them. Meanwhile, I'll take these couple cloves of garlic. I'm going to smash them. And we're going to put in some pearl onions. I can smell the cloves, I can smell the oil, I can smell bay leaves. So now we're going to put our crushed clove of garlic in there. Ooh, sizzle, sizzle. And about, I don't know, that's about a pint of pearl onions there. We're going to put those in. Those are all peeled. And we're going to cook these. Now we have to turn them down low, pretty low, and maybe put a cover on them. Here's my fancy cover there. And we're going to let them cook probably 20 minutes. In the meantime, while those are cooking, we're going to peel the tomatoes and puree them. And we're actually going to make our own fresh tomato puree. I'm going to put them in some boiling water, and I need to dip them in there and count to 10. And then out they come. Now we're going to put some cold water on them. The sins just slide off. Easy squeezy. So now we just got to cut the tomatoes into a couple of big pieces, just so they'll grind up in the food processor. Turn it on. Now we've got a nice puree. So we're still waiting for our onions to cook, so we're going to chop the herbs that we put in later. We don't put those in yet. This will be one of the last things that goes into our stew. This is Italian flat leaf parsley. And here's a few fennel fronds. Terrific herb. They have a little licorice flavor, kind of like an anise. So I'll just chop those just a little bit. And our parsley the same. I'm going to check my onions now. And they look great. Just a little bit of brown. They're getting pretty soft. Now it's time to add the tomato puree we made. So here it goes. That's our fresh tomato puree going in. At this point, we'll turn up the heat a little bit. Give it a good stir. And we're going to add about half a cup of red wine. Bring it to a boil, turn it down to a simmer. Cook it for 20 minutes. Salt to taste, and a little pepper. You don't have to cover it, just let it go. The stufato has cooked enough now. It's simmered until it's very thick. So we want a nice thick sauce that we're actually going to put the seafood on top of it and then sort of steam it in the sauce. We've got our mussels, our clams. We're going to cut the halibut into a couple of pieces so it'll cook at the same time as the clams and mussels. And we just lay that on there like that. Then we're going to put our lobster pieces in. So we're set to go. Now we put it back on the fire. Cover it up with our fancy lid, and it'll be about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to check it now. I think we're about ready. Yep, looks good. Then we're ready to dish up. And put some of the sauce and the onions on the bottom. You don't need a lot. And then we'll put the seafood back in the way we like it. A couple of clams, another mussel. And then we've got our fennel fronds and the parsley. So this is a tomato stufato with seafood. So the tomatoes from the farm were a terrific inspiration for this dish because they are so perfect and so fresh. Let me see how it tastes. I've still got it. In honor of the hottest day of the year, we're going to make blueberry ice cream. Before we make the blueberry ice cream, we actually have to make a vanilla base. We'll put about a cup of milk in this saucepan here, 3/4 cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, believe it or not. That actually brings out the flavor in all foods. Almost all sweet things have salt in them. And then the last thing we put in is this vanilla bean. Split the vanilla bean down the middle, and then it has all these seeds in it. And we're going to actually scrape those out into the milk. So then we're going to put the bean shell, the husk, right in there too. So we've got the sugar, the milk, vanilla bean seeds, and the vanilla bean in here. We're going to put it on the flame. We want the milk not to boil, and we don't want a skin to come up on it. So we're going to do it just before it boils. And the way that we're going to know if it's ready or not is to put our finger in there and touch it. It's all right to touch the food. All right, so it's hot now. We're ready to go. Now what we have to do is to temper our egg yolks. I've got 5 eggs here, and I'm going to separate them. It's always nice to have eggs from a farm, a local farm. The biggest reason probably is because it's so much fun to go to the farm and get the eggs. But they also have bigger yolks and stronger yolks. The yolks don't tend to break as much, and that makes it a lot easier to separate them. And I'm just going to beat them just a little bit until they're nice and yellow. That looks good. Now what we're doing is tempering the egg yolks. If I was just to dump the egg yolks into the cream, they would curdle. It'd be like curdled scrambled eggs, basically. So I want to put a little bit in while I'm stirring. Stir it all up, let the egg yolks get comfy, then put the rest in. There we go. And then we go right back into the pan, because now we have to cook this. This is going to be a custard. We're going to cook it until it starts to thicken and it coats the spatula, which, as you can see, it's not doing yet. There you go. It's coating now. That was pretty fast. Now we've got 2 cups of heavy cream here, whipping cream. We'll put that right back into the bowl. And then we're going to strain the custard right into the cream. There we go, pushing it through. So let's give that a little stir. And now what we need to do is to cool that all the way down. And we're going to put it on a bed of ice and let it sit for a little while until it's absolutely chilled, and then we're going to freeze it. So while we're waiting for that, let's do the blueberries. A couple cups of blueberries, a little bit of sugar, maybe half a cup, and some lemon juice. This is my handy dandy strainer here that I have. And now we're going to put them on the fire. And we're just going to cook those until they start to pop. We're going to freeze the ice cream first, the vanilla, and then we're going to fold the blueberry, kind of like a chunky blueberry sauce. We're going to fold it in to the ice cream. Already the juice is starting to come out of the blueberries. You know, that was great being out there yesterday at the farm. Jim is so knowledgeable, and I had so much fun being with him. I've been to a lot of farms. In fact, we actually subsidize a farm in the Kent Valley in Washington, so I'm out there a lot. But Jim is extraordinary in his knowledge of what's going on. This is what we're looking for here. You can see it's very saucy, and we have a lot of juice there. This is going to make terrific ice cream. The last thing we're going to put in here, just for fun, a little extra flavor, is the zest of a lemon. Gives it a little fresh twist. So the blueberries obviously are really hot. We wouldn't want to put those into the cold ice cream, so we'll let these get really cold. We'll chill them just like we did the custard, and then when it's all ready to go, we'll go and freeze the custard and then whip the blueberries in. When it got stiff and it's frozen, then we swirled in the blueberries while the machine was running, scooped it out into this container and put it in the freezer for about, half an hour to an hour so it'll firm up. Now, we're going to eat it. That looks good. A little ice cream, a little cookie. Wow. Those are those blue gold blueberries. Those are good. Those are really good berries.